We're going to be looking at the South African-born artist Esther Mahlangu, born in 1935. She is from the Ndebele nation, and she is famous for her bold, colourful artworks inspired by the traditional art of the Ndebele people. Mahlangu started painting when she was 10 years old, and she was taught the practice of mural painting by her mother and grandmother. Mural painting is when they paint on houses and walls. It is traditional for the women in the Ndebele community to paint the outside of their houses. They use natural pigments mixed with cow dung and bright acrylic paints, outlined with black lines to make large geometric patterns on the outside walls of their homes. Ndebele dolls are also an important part of their culture. When a young woman is about to get married, she is given a doll that she names and cares for. Her first child is then named after the doll. The beadwork on these Ndebele dolls is as detailed as the clothing of the young girls and women themselves. Today we're going to be drawing an Ndebele doll. Now an Ndebele doll can either be a young girl or an old lady or an older woman. Sorry boys, no boy Ndebele dolls in this case. To begin, we're going to be spacing our paper out. This is going to allow you to use the whole of your sheet rather than just putting your picture in one tiny little corner. So to help you with that, I use finger spacing. I'm going to ask you to do 3 finger spaces from the top and put a little dot, and 3 or 4 fingers from the bottom and put a little dot. Now your Ndebele doll is going to fit between those 2 dots. So you're going to start off by drawing 2 basic shapes. A sphere and a cone. To do the head, we're going to do a sphere. So very lightly, you're going to draw yourself a sphere. In this case, it's a circle because it's a 2-dimensional shape. But we want our Ndebele doll to look 3-dimensional. So that's why I'm showing you a sphere rather than just a circle. So we've done our circular shape, and now inside that we're going to do our cone. Now the reason why I'm drawing lightly is so that I can rub it out when I'm ready to. At the bottom here, make your base nice and round, almost like a boat shape. Nice and round like that, because if you go across like that, you're going to flatten it, and then it's a triangle rather than a cone shape, and we want it to look 3-dimensional. So once you've drawn your sphere, you're going to rub out the top part like that, and now you're going to divide your Ndebele doll's body into 3 or 4 sections. You can choose. Note again that I'm doing the lines in the same shape as I've done the base. Keep the direction the same, because that roundness is what's going to give it its 3-dimensionality. Now Ndebele dolls have what we call simplified faces. They don't have any details. They have a row of white beads that run down the center of their faces, like that. And their eyes, draw light till you've got it right, 2 round eyes, are made up of white beads that go in a circle like that. And in the middle of these white beads is one big red bead. So do the same on the other side. Red bead there, and that's all that the face is. All Ndebele dolls' faces look like this. They don't have any eyes, any ears or mouths or noses. It's a very simplified form of a face. Now, as we saw in the video, they have rings around their necks. So to show that the ring is going around the neck, that's why I've done this curve here, and I'm going to do another one there, going again with the same direction of the line to show that it's going nice and round. And then you can rub these lines out. now that you've got your head and your body and your face, you can start to put in some nice fun details. Now, based on our exploration of Esther Mahlangu, the Ndebele artist, we're going to use Ndebele shapes, which are geometric. So geometric shapes are anything that you can name. So triangles, circles, squares, diamonds, anything like that. So in this section, maybe you want to do zigzags, almost triangle shapes. And in the middle of them, maybe you want to do a circle. I'm just going to give you some ideas. You can obviously do your own. You don't need to copy mine, but this is just to give you some ideas. And this part of the Ndebele doll's body is all made out of beads, and they're beautifully done and all made by hand. In this one, maybe you want to do a diamond shape. Nice and simple and bold. And in the bottom, maybe we want to do almost like a castle shape. Like that. Nice, simple, geometric shapes. Maybe inside we can do some rectangles. And maybe in here we want to do some upside down triangles. And on the bottom of your little Ndebele doll, they normally have big colorful beads, about the same size bead, maybe slightly smaller, that they use to make the eye, the red part of the eye. Now, you can choose what type of head you give your Ndebele doll. You can either choose to do a headdress like this, which is quite fun. Then all of this is beaded as well, little beads that run down like that. Or if you're doing a young girl, you can give your girl braids. And that you do by making little squiggly lines all the way down her head like this. So you can really choose what kind of hair you give your Ndebele doll. And if you're wanting to give her braids, you can put little beads in her hair like that. Every now and then, a bead here, a bead there, maybe one on the end, and another 3 here, maybe 2 there. And these beads that they put in their hair are really bright and colorful. So that's another head option if you're doing a young girl. I've chosen to do this option, and now that I've drawn my Ndebele doll, I can color in all my pieces, my bits and pieces here. Now, they only use really bright colors, guys. There are no pretty pinks or pastel colors. The Ndebele beads are bright colors, so bright red, bright yellow, bright blue. The brighter the color, the better. Older lady or a granny, you're going to do the same thing as before. 3 fingers from the top, put a dot. 3 or 4 fingers from the bottom, put a dot. Now the only difference between the young girl and the old lady is that you can see the older lady's legs and feet, so we need to leave room for her. Start by drawing your sphere or your circle, drawing light till you've got it right. Then put in your cone, just the same as before. You don't have to choose to do either one or the other. You could try both. Remember to rub out the top of your cone. Now the older ladies wear a blanket around them like you saw in the photos. So I'm going to draw that, and then I'm going to draw almost like curtains from the side, and then you're going to rub out the lines that you won't be able to see because they'll obviously be under her blanket, like that. And then under their blankets they wear like an apron, so So you're going to follow this side line, just like you follow that line there, you're going to follow on this side here. And then this line here, you're going to follow around like that. Now on your apron, you can do a pattern like that, your geometric patterns. Maybe over here you do the castle pattern, any pattern you like. And then on the bottom, if you wanted to, you can put your beads. So the older ladies' decorative part of their traditional outfits are in fact their blankets and their aprons. So you can have some fun with those patterns. The blankets, maybe you want to do a brightly colored edge or a beaded edge, just to make it a bit more interesting. So if you wanted to, you could put beads along the edge, but we need to put the rings around her neck first. Now, the older a lady is, or the more respected she is in her community, the more rings she'll have around her neck. So we're going to draw 3 rings for this lady. 1, 2, and 3. Remember, we're keeping the round line that we've been following all the way. And then remember to just rub out the part that the rings would cover, so you wouldn't see her blanket under the rings. So rub out those little lines. Now you're going to put on her legs, 2 little legs. And now older women in the Ndebele community also have rings around their ankles. You may have noticed that when you looked at the photographs. So we're going to do them the same way as we did those. We're going to wrap them around their legs like that. Now, we're not joining the circle because her leg is covering the other side of the ring. So that kind of shows us that it's behind her leg. So we're going to do the same on this side. And down and up. We're just going to do 1 ring on each leg, and then this is her feet. And you won't see her arms. You may have noticed that when we did the little girl Ndebele doll, you couldn't see her arms either. Ndebele dolls are very stylized. You don't see any details. You don't see any arms, noses, ears, none of that detail. So just as the little girl didn't have arms, our old lady or older woman is not going to have arms either. Perhaps they're under her blanket. Now we're going to do her face the same. We're going to do like a curved line, which shows that this is a sphere rather than a circle. That's what's going to give it its 3-dimensional quality. And you're going to draw the beads down the middle of her face like before. And her eyes, you're going to do the same with the red bead in the middle, and this side the same, the bead in the middle. And then the headdress, she would be wearing the traditional Ndebele hat, which you can decorate and bead as you like to. So if you wanted to, you could just make those straight stripes and color them in. I will show you how to color it in using the time-lapse video so that you can see how we finish off our old lady.